What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another preview stream for you guys. Obviously, we play Chelsea at home on Sunday, 1:30 kickoff. And I'll tell you what, if we don't beat Chelsea this weekend, when the hell are we going to beat them?
So we're never going to beat them, basically.
Never.
So we're not going to beat them this weekend. Look, Chelsea, it's a weird one with Chelsea because it's been... obviously, we had Lewis in the studio yesterday. Watch out for the content that's going to come out from that. But we had Lewis in the studio, and it's just a really strange time because it's like, on the one hand, everyone's so excited with all the new signings. They spent 600 million. They've got some of the best talent European football can offer. Enzo Fernandez, they got ahead of Arsenal for Mudryk. They've just signed some unbelievable talent in their squad. And if you look at their squad, you close your eyes and you point to any position, right? And then you open your eyes, you let whatever position you land on, and you go to, okay, who plays in that position? They're chock-a-block in any of those positions. Right back, Reece James. Left back, you've got Cucurella and Chilwell. Forward line, you've got Mudryk, Felix. You've got Havertz. You've got unbelievable amount of talent, and yet they've won 2 games in 16. Yeah. So it's such a weird time as a Chelsea fan because you can't be angry at the board because they've spent so much money. Potter has only been there a few months, so as much as you can be angry at him, and he's getting most of the criticism right now for Chelsea's plight. It's like, how can him as a Chelsea manager come in and get his best 11 and know how he's going to play when he's got, not only does he have all the players from January, he's got all the players from the summer. They spent about 400 million in the summer. They signed Sterling, Koulibaly, Cucurella, all these players in the summer. So how he's supposed to sift through all of this while also getting results at the same time and imprinting his philosophy and bedding in players? It's like an almost impossible job right now at Chelsea. But then again, with all that talent, how can you only win 2 games in 16?
Look, you need to have a settled side, to be honest, and they don't have that at the moment. And when you're looking at the players that they've brought in, obviously unbelievable talent from all around Europe. You're not going to come into the Premier League and get all these players together and get a constant flow of good football week in, week out. That's just never going to happen, especially with a manager like Potter as well, who needs to imprint his ideas on the team. They had a much different philosophy before that with Thomas Tuchel, and they signed a lot of players for him in the summer, like you said. So I think it was always going to be a patient, fans needed to be patient with this one. And Chelsea fans were the ones calling for a big rebuild in the summer as well. They were calling for, they need a younger, fresher squad to come in, and they're getting that. So I think they need to be patient. I think if they are patient and they do stick by Potter and they do stick by this squad, I think good things are coming their way. But I thought it was always going to take this time. I didn't think it would be this bad. I thought they would win a lot more games than 2 in 17, to be honest. But I think that if they are kind of patient and stick by it and don't kind of go in overdrive of the negativity, I think good things are coming their way. I really do. And it's always going to take a manager like Potter time to imprint his ideas on a squad like that. It's just the facts of the matter. I think literally in 1 year or 2 years' time, I think they could be literally like one of the best teams in Europe. That's the kind of talent that they've bought. So it's not all doom and gloom and bad at Chelsea. It might seem that way at the moment right now, but I think good things really are coming their way. And when you're looking at the form that we're talking about, 2 wins in their last 17 games in all competitions, only 1 goal scored in their last 5, which is crazy to think about with the attacking talent that they do have. Still, they're quite mean at the back. Only 3 goals conceded, where you look at us, it's completely the flip side of that. We've scored 7 and conceded 5. It's their away form. Look at that away form for Chelsea. 2 draws and 3 losses in their last 5. They're coming to us where we haven't beaten them in a long time. But like I said, it's the best time to play them, isn't it?
Yes and no. I would say, look, on the face of it, it probably is because they're really unsettled. They haven't got their best 11 or their way of playing together yet. They're under pressure. I think as well, because they've signed so many young players and they're all need bedding in, it's almost like what Lewis said yesterday, like when the crowd are up for it and it's like a really intense atmosphere, then these young players seem to there's not much leadership. There's Thiago Silva there obviously, but when he's not playing, Yeah, but he's also a new player. So when someone like Silva isn't playing, it feels like that there's a lack of authority and leadership on that pitch right now, and there's no one knows where to turn to, and they do seem to fold way too easily. It does seem to happen with Chelsea where I've been watching a lot of their games, and what seems to happen is they're playing well. They're usually creating a few chances, then something goes against them, like a goal or whatever, and then all of a sudden the confidence drops, the heads drop.
Spurs.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely happened with Spurs in recent years as well, but. Like Chelsea definitely seems to be happening with them at the moment, and I think it's because they're so young, these players. I remember our Arsenal in the early years of Arteta, it was very similar. Like they would have good starts, and then something would go against them, and then young players like Saka and Martinelli and these players, they wouldn't be as confident as they were. Before that bad thing happened, and it takes time to get used to these things. It takes time. It takes a lot of time on the training pitch, and it takes experience. And I think Chelsea are just suffering from that right now. I think Bowley knows that. I think he's seen what Arsenal have done by just sticking by Arteta through thick and thin. Things they got to a stage under Arteta, things couldn't have got much worse. I think they lost 8 games in a row in the Premier League. I don't think form-wise it gets much worse than that, and they still stuck by him. So I think right now, as bad as things are at Chelsea, I think you just got to have no expectations for this season. There's a lot of upheaval, a lot of transition, a lot of new signings, new ownership. You just got to just accept that it's not going to go smoothly this season, with the long-term plan of thinking, all right, it won't go smoothly this season, but next season that'll be when we can restart to judge.
They got a big job in the summer as well to get rid of a lot of players that are surplus to requirements. The Ziyech's and all those kind of players.
But just to go back to the point you were saying, it's the best time to play them. On the flip side of them being disjointed, which is true, the one thing I'm worried about is because they've got such a talented team that there will be a week where they start to click. It will happen. They're not gonna be this bad the whole season, and I'm just worried. Is it going to be against Tottenham? You just never know.
Usually is.
It could easily be. It could easily be, and that's what I'm worried about. One thing you've got to say is this Chelsea team is very hard to predict. First of all, who's going to play, how they're going to play, what formation, all these kind of things. They're chopping and changing it every week. Potter's trying to figure out what the best way to play is, and there is absolutely every chance that he'll land on that best way against Tottenham. There's every chance.
Teams usually do, to be fair, especially Chelsea. I mean, I think that if it was any other team maybe going through what Chelsea are going through, I think we'd be a lot more confident going into it. I think it's just because it's Chelsea and what we've been through against Chelsea over the last number of years. Since 2018, not won a game, not scored against them in our stadium in the league, which is absolutely dreadful. If you bring up the Premier League head-to-head, it's a sight for sore eyes. It really is. I mean, we drew against them earlier on in the season where we actually got away with one big time when Chelsea pummeled us pretty much for the whole game, and we got a last-minute equaliser. But look at that form before then. I mean, it's just dreadful. And it goes back a lot further than that as well. It goes back maybe 2 years before that, where we've just had shocking results consistently against Chelsea. And it's just like a team, no matter what period they're in, we just lose to them. So that's a big reason why I'm a bit apprehensive going into this game this weekend.
Yeah, look, history is important, obviously. I do think when it comes to Chelsea, we'll probably face them in the worst form they've ever been in when we do face them. And probably the worst form we've ever faced them in. But yeah, if you look at those results, I mean, that January was one of the worst Januaries to play against Chelsea in a long time. We lost 3 games, no goals scored, and even in a cup semi-final, we couldn't even score a goal against them, which was absolutely shocking. Nuno losing 3-0 to them. Under Mourinho, I think we lost 1-0 at home, and then away from home we drew 0-0, so we got a draw there. Poch's last season. I don't think Poch played him in the last season.
11 games in the league, we've drawn 3 and lost the rest.
Yeah. We've got a shocking record.
Last 11 games, not one win. It's crazy. And as well, when you think about it, there was actually a period under Pochettino where we went through where we were actually really good against Chelsea. They couldn't get a win off us for 2 years or whatever it was. But since 2018, it's just been absolutely shocking. And it's time to put that right this weekend. And it's our best chance to do that.
Yeah, I don't think there's any better time to put it right. But at the same time, there's no better time for Chelsea to start turning around their form. Like it's kind of the perfect opportunity for both teams, and that's what I'm a bit worried about. But you have to hope that our last 2 home games, Chelsea, Man City, and West Ham, clean sheets, positive performances. So hopefully we can build on those performances and take that into this game. And we need a good atmosphere here. I really think that's really important because I think these young players, when there has been an intense atmosphere, they have tended to fold a bit. So I'm thinking if Tottenham can really get the fans on side, we can play a bit more on the front foot, make sure they're unsettled from the off. Then I do think we've got a very good chance of winning. But if we let this young side settle, they've got more than enough quality to hurt us, more than enough.
Absolutely. And when we provide a good atmosphere for the team usually rise to the occasion as well, which I'm hoping for. When you're looking at the specifics in the Chelsea team, we've picked out these 2 players as the ones to watch in the Chelsea team. Their goalkeeper, Kepa, who's been clowned upon for a long time, got dropped for Edouard Mendy. Edouard Mendy now has been dropped, albeit he's injured. He has been dropped for Kepa, but he's been in sensational form this season. 7 clean sheets, 49 saves in 15 appearances this season. He's been keeping them in games at times, hasn't he?
Yeah, you have to give him credit. He's he came. It's a bit of very. I wouldn't say direct comparison, but David De Gea came in and had a really horrible start to his career, and then once he started to settle at Man United, he started to show why they bought him for so much money. And Kepa has had a really tough start, maybe a lot longer than De Gea, to be honest. Like he's been at Chelsea now since 2018, so he's coming into his 5th. He's in his 5th year at Chelsea, to be fair, which is pretty mad to think about. But he's had a really difficult time at Chelsea, but he came as a very young goalkeeper, and now he's a bit more mature.
How much do they spend on him? Like
70 million. He's a bit more mature now. He's now more used to the Premier League and the physicality, and to be fair, he's been pretty exceptional this season when he stepped in. I can't remember a mistake he's made. He's always had unbelievable reach with his big long arms. He's got really good shot stopping ability, and now he's cut those mistakes out of his game. He's showing why they spent 70 million on him back when they did. And for all the talk of them needing a new goalkeeper and Mendy not play well, Kepa's now stepped up. I think he's kept 7 clean sheets in 15 games this season, which is remarkable, to be fair to him, considering Chelsea's form as well. He's been super impressive. So that goes to his mental toughness, and that goes to his mentality to not give up on his Chelsea career. Now he's gotten another opportunity. He's kind of taken it with both hands.
Yeah, absolutely. And you cast your mind back to that time when was it he refused to come on, or he refused to come on?
That was his first season, yeah.
And you thought, oh, this guy's done at Chelsea already after the first year. And look, credit to him for bouncing back the way he has done. The other player we've earmarked is João Felix. Obviously, he hasn't played many games, 3 games only, because he got that straight red card in the first game that he did play. 1 goal. 7 shots on target in 3 games, though, ain't too bad for João Felix. And I've been super impressed with him. He's the one that's really stood out of the signings that they did make in January. He's a touch of class, really, João Felix. And he's kind of been shackled all this time playing for Simeone and playing in that system at Atletico Madrid. And it seems as though he's got a bit of a new lease of life at Chelsea at the moment, and he's so dangerous, man. He's one that we're going to have to watch so closely.
It's the way he just glides past players. I think he looks like he's got a lot more freedom now at Chelsea than he did at Atletico Madrid, even in the short space of time we've seen him. And he's one that's really hit the ground running. I know he got that early red card, but even on that game, he was the best player on the pitch before he got sent off. And to be fair, as much as you can clown on him for the red card, what it does show is his willingness to fight, his willingness to put in strong challenges and show that he's got that willingness to work hard for the team. And that's also a good thing. As much as a red card, obviously you don't want him to go overboard, but that's a good thing to show early in your Chelsea career. And I think he's really showed why Atletico Madrid all those years ago spent 100 million euros on him, because they spent that money, I think it was back in 2019, after they sold Griezmann. And it was only off the back of one good season.
Over 100 million or something.
It was 110 million or something. It was off the back of one good season at Benfica. And ever since he's gone to Atletico, I know Atletico got a good record with strikers, but he hasn't really seemed to fit in there whenever he's been. He's kind of had a very mixed time at Atletico Madrid. He kind of seems as though because Atletico are very used to having big, strong strikers: Falcao, Diego Costa, Aguero to an extent. I know he's not big and strong, but you got quite a bit of physicality about him. But Felix, I'm saying Atletico Madrid.
Oh.
They've had a lot of strikers in their past, but Felix doesn't really fit that mould. and he's kind of struggled to find a place, like whether he's out wide, whether he's up front. I'm not really sure what his best position is. And I think at Chelsea, he's kind of playing in the hole, a bit of freedom, given freedom to glide past players. He's clearly got an amazing shot on him, and I think he's now starting to mature a bit as well. He's still young, 23 or 24 years old. He's still fairly young, so he spent a lot of years at Atletico Madrid, kind of playing that Simeone kind of way. But now he's at Chelsea under Potter, who's a lot more front foot, a lot more possession based. I think he's going to be a lot better. We're starting to see the best of João Felix now, even in the short space of time we've seen him, following on from some impressive performances at the World Cup as well. So he's an exciting talent. He's one that the Chelsea fans I know have fallen in love with it already after 3 games, and he's the one. In a weird way, even though he's only been there for 3 games, he's probably their most informed player.
Yeah, surely. If this lineup is the lineup, I mean, we don't know because we're playing here Chelsea roulette and anyone could play in this game. But if you bring up that predicted lineup for Chelsea, we've gone for Kepa in goal, back 4 of Chilwell, Badiashile, Silva and James, midfield of Enzo Fernandez, Mount and Kovacic with Sterling and Felix supporting Havertz. I mean, if Felix does play in that kind of position, surely it's a job for Romero, and if Romero can lock him down, it'll stand us in really good stead in this game.
Yeah, look, they've got more than enough talent everywhere else on the pitch, to be honest, that even if you shut Felix down, they can hurt you in a lot of other places. But obviously
he's showing that form, though, is it?
Yeah, but honestly, don't think it matters in a weird way, because it's a London derby. They're going to be up for it. You never know what they've worked on in midweek, if they've planned for something and they're finally going to make it click. Like, I look at that team and it's just chock-a-block full of talent. And I know Felix is their most on-form player. And of course, if you stop him, that's fantastic. But like, they've got so much other talent as well. It's not just all Felix. And I think it has to be Emerson starting on that wing. I think you just have to make sure that you're defensively solid and that we don't concede any stupid goals. And I think that's the best way to move forward in this kind of game, because I think Chelsea are actually really solid defensively, whatever you want to look at it. They've only conceded, I think, 3 goals in their past 6 games in total. They're keeping a lot of clean sheets. As we say, Kepa has kept 7 clean sheets in his 15 starts.
They've only conceded 23 goals all season.
Yeah, which is impressive for a team that's struggling.
Arsenal have conceded only 23 goals all season. They're top of the league.
That goes to show where their problems lie. It's going forward. So we just got to make sure that we're not gifting them any goals. If they're going to score, they're going to have to work hard for them. So I think we're going to have to have our best. We're going to have to have a defensive back line with Emerson there. Maybe even Davis. Think about playing him on the left as well. If Perisic isn't up to it, but so. I think we just got to make sure that we're really solid, and we're not making it easy for Chelsea to create chances, not gifting them any goals that we've done in some games this season. And if we do that, then we just got to hope we can find some quality in going forward, because it's not going to be easy getting past their back line. Silva is a freak in the way he defends and how long he's been going for. I think Badiashile is a really good signing at the back as well. And then James and Chilwell, 2 very offensive wing backs, but can both defend as well. So, and Kepa in great form. So it's going to be very difficult to find those pieces of quality, but we have been doing that at home so far. Maybe if we put them under pressure with a bit of a high press like we did against City on occasion, like if we just pick our moments to press them and force them into mistakes, that could be the best way to get the win in here.
Yeah. Are you worried at all about the stat that maybe I brought up last week before the West Ham game about us having very good record against teams with a back 3? They've moved to a back 4 now, where our record isn't too good. Does that play in your mind at all? A bit, yeah, of course. Tuchel, I have to say, really mastered how to play against the Conte system. Every time we played Tuchel, they dominated us every single time, and it was always with the back 4. They always played this hybrid system with a back 4 on the ball and a back 3 off the ball, and we really got outdone every time we played against them. Potter obviously is different, and he plays a different way. So, I mean, I don't see Spurs changing up their formation just for this game. I think we're going to go with the way how we play, and we're just going to have to try and mitigate how we've been playing against back 4s this season. It does worry me a bit, just like Chelsea in general worry me a bit with their quality, but I don't know. Hopefully we have some sort of plan going into it to combat those frailties we've had in the back 4, but we'll have to wait and see. We played Man City, and I know they played with
a kind of hybrid system as well, back three, hybrid, back four. We beat them, so hopefully we can take that kind of energy and into this game.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the history and the record books showing us that, we usually beat City, we usually lose to Chelsea.
Yeah, true.
But that's just the facts of the matter. What's your score prediction? You sticking with the 1-0?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with 1-0 Tottenham. I'm going to hope that we have that same defensive mentality we've had over the past 2 home games, and especially against Man City. Skip and Højbjerg have been in good form, so I'm really hoping that they're up to it against a very talented Chelsea middle three, with Enzo there, who's had a great start to life at Chelsea as well. So if they can keep up their form that they've been showing, and we can really make sure that we're not giving them any encouragement going forward, because they've really been porous in the front line, then I hope we can force them into a few mistakes. I don't really see us breaking them down through like really good football, to be honest. I think it's going to be I see this being quite a stodgy game. I see this being a game where the team who makes the most mistakes loses, as opposed to the team who plays the best football. So but I can see us forcing them into some mistakes, and if we can do that, I think we can edge it 1-0.
Yeah, I've kind of got a bit of a similar feeling to you, to be honest. I'm going for 1-0 as well. I do think our defence can lock down that attack, that poor attack that's only scored 23 goals all season, which is crazy. I mean, we've scored 44 goals this season, and they've just been on really poor form, and they look fairly easy to play against. But Lewis was saying yesterday they usually play well for about half an hour a game. We play well for about 45 minutes a game. Let's see how if maybe they'll play well for the first half an hour of the game, and hopefully second half Tottenham can come and finish the job in the second half. But yeah, I'm going to go for 1-0 to Spurs. We're going to be in the stadium on Sunday, so looking forward to building up the atmosphere. We're doing a flag as well with THFC flags, which is going to be a bit of fun. So check that out on the vlog. Let's move on to BetMate and see what we got in the pot this week. We got £600 for £5 buy-in. If you use our code WATTV5, you can get a free £5 to play with. And like I said, it is a £600 guaranteed pot. Let's get into our teams, and let's start off with... Who's we starting off with? With my one. I've gone for Fraser Forster in goal, hoping for a clean sheet. In the defence, I've gone for Emerson as captain and Cuti Romero as vice-captain. Emerson, I'm going for an Emerson masterclass again, up against João Felix on that side. Romero will be up against João Felix on that side as well, so I'm expecting a lot of tackles and interceptions from both of them, and they're both pretty good at getting... Romero's good at getting forward. Emerson has been good at getting forward of late, scoring 2 goals in the last month. So that's my defence. In midfield, I've gone for Ollie Skip and Enzo Fernandez. First time I've picked Skippy, but he got a lot of points in the last game against West Ham. Very busy performance in the midfield. And I'm expecting a similar performance from both of them, to be honest. Very busy performances in the midfield with loads of tackles and interceptions. I think this is how this BetMate for Spurs-Chelsea is going to be split this week. I think it's going to be on the defensive actions, because I don't think there's going to be many goals in the game. And then up front, I've gone for Kane and Son. Hopefully to link up for our 1-0 win.
All right, for my team, let's get that up. I've gone for Kepa in goal. I'm just hoping he makes more saves than Forster, so I've gone for him in goal. I've gone for Emerson captain. And
you also went for Emerson captain.
I did, yeah. And Badiashile, I think there's Badiashile there as well in the defensive modes. So I'm hoping Emerson can continue his good form at home. And Badiashile is always good for some interceptions and stuff like that. In midfield, I've gone for Højbjerg and Enzo Fernandez, because I do believe it's going to be a big battle in midfield. And up front, with Chelsea not scoring many, I have gone for Kane and Son in the forward line, with Kane vice-captain, who hasn't scored since he broke the Tottenham record. So I'm banking him. He's got a good record in London derbies, so banking him on scoring on Sunday.
All right, so that is our match preview for the game against Chelsea. Big North London derby at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Let's make it 3 wins out of our last 3 games in Tottenham.